Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $OrionNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got some NBA action this Wednesday evening. The San Antonio Spurs versus the Golden State Warriors. Tip-off is going to be here in roughly 3 to 4 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for some NBA action this Wednesday evening. Happy Wednesday, everyone. On the thumb, on the left, the most intriguing player in the game, Victor Wembanyama. And on the right, the enforcer for the Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on the Dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. And we obviously saw Wembanyama go off yesterday for 40 points and 12 rebounds, and a majority of those numbers were in the first half. You know, in any game that you watch with Victor Wembanyama, you never know when you might end up seeing something that you've never seen before. He's got the length, he's got the size, he's got the shooting ability and the dribbling ability like a guard. Again, you know, anytime you end up watching Victor Wembanyama, you just never know if you're going to see something that you've never seen something done in NBA history before. And that's why I'm going to be here tonight. And obviously, you know, Steph Curry is injured at the moment, so Draymond Green is going to have to hold it down. Obviously, the Spurs are going to be heavily favored by 7.5. But again, if the enforcer, Draymond Green, can get the job done, then again, we will see how close that they can keep it. And the Golden State Warriors did win the previous 2 matchups against the Spurs. So Wembanyama and the Spurs are not only looking to get payback on the Warriors, regardless if Steph is playing or not, but again, they're looking to get that 1 seed over the Oklahoma City Thunder. We know SGA has been banged up for a little bit, but again, after the All-Star festivities, hopefully a lot of the superstars will be ready to go. De'Aaron Fox, Stefan Castle, Devin Vassell, Julian Champagne, and Victor Wembanyama. Golden State Warriors, Pat Spencer, DeAnthony Melton, Moses Moody, Kai Santos, and Draymond Green.
When it was time to add my son to our car insurance, I was scared to even think about my wallet.
And here we go with the tip. Jumper by Fox, in and out, no good. Wide open 3 by Draymond Green, in and out, no good. Nice offensive rebound there by Golden State. Another triple from outside is good. Nice job there by Moses Moody. Pat Spencer with the assist. Wembanyama down low with the big dunk. De'Aaron Fox with the assist. Good defense here by San Antonio here early. Corner 3. Bang, and it's good. DeAnthony Melton with a 23-foot three-point jumper. Draymond Green with the assist. Wembanyama posting up down low. Fadeaway jumper by Wembanyama, and it's good. Beautiful 11-foot turnaround jumper. Stefan Castle with the assist. Good ball movement here by the Warriors. Wide open 3 by Santos. In and out, no good. Wembanyama with the defensive rebound. Castle at the top of the key. Good cross-court pass. Good ball movement here by the Spurs early. Pick and roll with Castle and Wembanyama. Good ball movement there. Vassell, 22-foot three-point jumper in the corner is no good. Draymond Green with the defensive rebound. Pick and roll at the top of the key with Draymond Green. Looking for a cutter. Little pick and roll with Moody. Moody with the jumper, and it rolls in. The friendly bounce, 11-foot pull-up jump shot by Moses Moody. And another bucket there by the Warriors. Castle at the top of the key. De'Aaron Fox, floater, is good. 9-foot driving floating layup by De'Aaron Fox. Castle with the assist. And again, you would assume that Draymond Green will be taking a few more shots in this game with no Steph Curry available. Baseline drive back to Draymond Green, floater, and a friendly bounce, and it goes in. 13-foot floating jump shot by Draymond Green. De'Aaron Fox to Castle. Castle with a tough look, and it goes in. Beautiful shot. 8-foot running jump shot there by Castle is good. Pick and roll here at the top of the key. Floating layup with the left by Spencer, no good. Castle with the jumper on the other end, in and out, no good. Pat Spencer with the defensive rebound. Draymond Green for three, and it's good. Bang! 26-foot jumper there by Draymond Green. And they're definitely competing here early. Stolen by Santos on De'Aaron Fox. And Santos going up tough and draws the foul. De'Aaron Fox with the shooting foul. Santos to the line for two. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First free throw by Santos. No good. Podziemski coming in there for Pat Spencer. Second free throw by Santos is good. Good start here for Golden State with no Steph Curry. Will be available after the All-Star break. Fox at the top of the key. Champagny there with the three. No good. Good defensive rebound by D'Anthony Melton. Nice pass. Good ball movement here with the pick and roll. Moody. Floater. Front rim. In and out. No good. Draymond Green with the offensive rebound. He's good for a few in a game like this. Green. Nice pass. And right to Santos for a layup and good. Beautiful assist there by Draymond Green. And that's going to be the first full timeout for the San Antonio Spurs. 16-8 in the first quarter with 7:40 left. And again, Warriors coming out very strong. Judah in the building. What's good? And again, we have a pretty light schedule for tomorrow. But again, it'll either be one of the main games. They got the Bucks and the Thunder, but obviously no SGA. And then you have a more intriguing matchup with Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks going against the Lakers. Luka will be out, but hopefully LeBron will be available. And depending on who's available for the Lakers and Dallas, we'll probably be leaning towards that tomorrow, or the duel at Daytona for NASCAR. They're going to be doing the Duel 1 and Duel 2 tomorrow, and the actual main race will be at Sunday. And I will be doing some of the NBA All-Star festivities as well. So it kind of just depends on the health of some of these guys on the last day before the All-Star break. Only 3 games available tomorrow, so 2 of them are on Prime, and again, we'll kind of see where it all plays out. 7:40 left here in the first quarter. 16-8 Warriors with a early 8-point lead. And again, Wembanyama, doing crazy things, putting up 30 plus in the first half. Yesterday, 40-12 game with, barely any minutes in the fourth quarter. And again, anytime you end up watching Victor Wembanyama, you just never really know, in any given situation where you're going to see something that maybe you've never seen before in the NBA. And I've been watching the NBA since the mid 80s. And again, his size and length are something that we've never seen before for a guy that can dribble like a guard and then obviously can shoot the three like a shooting guard. And again, it's one of those things that he just seems to amaze me every single day. And again, for a guy like that, we hope that he won't end up getting injured with the legs, because typically when you got an individual that's over 7 foot, eventually a lot of wear and tear on those knees and those joints. Eventually guys kind of fizzle out, but it definitely feels like Wembanyama is definitely in a league of his own, so to speak. And I hope that he doesn't have any major injuries. And again, they're going to be really leaning on him and Castle to be able to try to overtake the Thunder for the number one spot. But even if they aren't able to take over the Thunder and SGA for the number one spot, the Spurs can still make the Western Conference Finals at the 2 spot or even the 3 if it goes to that point. But again, a very competitive team, and Castle got a little banged up a few days ago. Great to see him out there. And again, they're going to have to rely on him, obviously, here tonight. Yeah. And again, at the trade deadline, sometimes it's salary, and sometimes it's about being able to, get the most assets, at the time being, especially if a guy may not be wanting to be there long term. And again, that's a pretty big haul for a guy like that, as you know. All right, Al Horford coming in here for Santos. Dylan Harper coming in for De'Aaron Fox. And I really don't like the format, with the way they've had it set up in the All-Star game the last few years. They need to go back to the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. But again, they keep trying to fidget around with, some of the format and whatnot. But again, I think if they just would go back, to the old ways, it would get better ratings. Castle here at the top of the key. Passes to Victor Wembanyama. Little pick and roll, back to Castle. Good ball movement here, open 3, and it's good. There we go. Cutting into the lead the best that they can. Nice 25-foot three-point jumper by Dylan Harper. Castle with the assist. And Moses Moody with the 3, no good. And Vassell there with the defensive rebound, but out of bounds. Turnover, San Antonio. Warriors inbound the ball. Pick and roll. Good pass into the corner. Draymond Green for 3. Front rim, in and out, no good. And the Spurs with the rebound and the push. Victor Wembanyama at the top of the key. Top of the 3 key. In and out, no good. And the Warriors the other way. Oh, baby. Pod with a big 3 there. D'Anthony Melton with the assist. Beautiful. Castle. Jab step. Wembanyama. Top of the 3 key. Bang, and it's good. Victor Wembanyama. 26-foot three-point jumper is good. Castle with the assist. Pod at the top of the key. Nice pull-up jumper and good. 11-foot pull-up jumper there by Pod is good. 23-14, Warriors with a early lead. Wembanyama for 3, in and out, no good. And Draymond Green with the defensive rebound. Pod brings the ball up the floor. Gets it to Draymond, back to Moody. Moody with the jumper, off the screen, bang, and it's good. 19-foot pull-up jump shot. Draymond Green with the assist. Nice bucket by Moses Moody. Castle, off the dribble. Corner 3. Castle. Top of the key here, and that looks like Castle with the reach-in personal foul. Sarah in the building. How are you? Oh, interesting. And we know that Eric Bieniemy is back with the team. So again, if they can have a little bit of resurgence with the play calling, I know that'll help them tremendously. Pick and roll at the top of the key. Nice bounce pass down low. Reverse layup. In and out, no good. Offensive rebound here by the Warriors. Corner three. In and out, no good. And rebounded finally there by Keldon Johnson. Turnover there by Gary Payton. The second, corner three. In and out, no good. And Harrison Barnes with that defensive rebound. And obviously we know with Nagy, that wasn't really the most ideal play caller. Again, I know Chief fans have been wanting him out for quite some time, and hopefully they can end up going back to their winning ways with Bieniemy, calling plays if that's the route they're going to go. And, hopefully they'll have a little bit more health going into this year. Alley-oop and a push in the back, and that is going to be a foul on Moses Moody. 4:49 left in the first quarter, 23-14. Warriors with the early 9-point lead. Cole in the building. How are you? But definitely looking forward to the Daytona 500, the duel 1 and 2 tomorrow, as well as a little bit of the festivities, for the NBA as we get into the NBA All-Star Weekend. And we are going to be getting into some of the spring training games in just a few days as well, which is very exciting, even if it's going to be a lot of the farm talent. I just can't wait for baseball to be available. Spurs inbound the ball. Harrison Barnes here at the top of the key. Good ball movement there. Fox in the corner. And good. Johnson with the assist. Nice bucket there by De'Aaron Fox. Nice cut down the middle with the layup with the left is good. Al Horford, 3-foot layup. Gary Payton the second there with the assist. Alley-oop. Oh, baby. Luke Cornett from Harrison Barnes with the flush. And that's going to be the first full timeout for the Warriors. And the Warriors, believe it or not, are 2-0 against the Spurs this year. But again, it kind of feels like the team you wouldn't think that would be dominating the series so far, like the Spurs dominating, the Thunder in, most of their games, 3 of the first 4 that they played. The Spurs ended up taking those, and the Warriors are 2-0. But again, it's going to be much harder to win tonight against Wembanyama, even though he is coming off a back-to-back. No Steph Curry tonight. And normally when the Warriors don't have Steph, they don't compete. But again, it feels like the competitive juices are there. And we know Draymond Green is going to fire the team up the best way that he can. He's going to be that pest that just never goes away. And again, that's what the Warriors need if they're going to want to compete and still, hover over 500. They're 29-25, 18-9 at home, 37-16 for the Spurs, 17-10 on the road. Yeah, DeMarco Murray as the running back coach should be interesting, as Sarah mentioned, as well as you, Cole. Again, definitely excited to see where everything goes in the NFL draft, and obviously we've got a few weeks for that before we have coverage on that here on the channel. Yeah, I saw social media photos earlier today. We don't know how long that will last. I mean, we assume it's going to last longer than Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. But again, Myles Garrett, and I know with some of his family members, like mom and dad, took some photography and whatnot. And always cool to be able to see a new power couple in the mix, especially when you didn't know that existed. And again, hopefully Chloe Kim will end up having a good run in the Olympics. And we know Myles Garrett ended up getting the sack record this past season. And again, if anyone who was going to beat that record, it would probably be Myles Garrett again. So looking forward to seeing him in NFL action as we go into next season. 4:21 left in the first quarter. 25-19, Warriors with a early 6-point lead. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. But I was very impressed in Wembanyama's performance last night. And again, anytime you can end up getting a player that can put up, 30 plus points in a half and end the night with 40 and 12 every single time that he's playing, I'm going to tune in and see what he's doing. And again, we know he's got the length, he's got the size, he can dribble like a guard, he can shoot like a point guard or a shooting guard from deep. Again, I don't think we've ever seen a player like Victor Wembanyama. And again, he'll have to have a strong game tonight if they're going to end up pulling off this victory. And then obviously the pest, Draymond Green, smiling ear from ear. We know he's a competitor. And again, if you are a Warrior fan, you love him. But obviously, if you are not a Warrior fan, a lot of people despise Draymond. But again, if he was on your team, your favorite team, you would love it. Because again, he brings the competitive energy out, even though he is getting up there in age. Pod at the top of the key. Good ball movement here down low. Barnes. Fadeaway jumper by Al Horford is good. 10-foot fadeaway jump shot by Al Horford. 27-22 turning into 29-22 here early. Corner three. Keldon Johnson, 23-foot three-point jumper assisted by De'Aaron Fox. Odd at the top of the key. Going baseline. Good ball movement here by the Warriors. Santos battling baseline. Hook shot with one hand as the shot clock goes to 0. And it's good. Wow. Impressive shot there. Barnes. Pick and roll here. Barnes for three. In and out, no good. Tipped back out. Spurs with the offensive rebound. And the layup is good. Layup rejected there by the Spurs. Fast break here, San Antonio. Good passing there into the corner. In and out for Barnes for three, no good. Warriors on the fast break. 1-on-2. And Pod with a great assist there. Great decision. Gary Payton II with the layup. And Pod with the assist. Dylan Harper. Cornette. Looking for someone to throw to. Dylan Harper for three. In and out, no good. And a nice rebound there by Harrison Barnes. Ooh, nice pass behind the back. Wide open three. In and out, no good. Gary Payton II with that missed three. Dylan Harper with the defensive rebound. Harrison Barnes in the corner for three. In and out, no good. Pod with another rebound. And the Warriors push it up the floor. Good ball movement here. Gary Payton II in the corner for three. Bang, and it's good. Santos with the assist. 36-26. Warriors with a 10-point lead. That's impressive. Spurs will be a little bit gassed from obviously the back-to-back, but definitely a team that's good enough to win. Fox with the jumper is good. 18-foot pull-up jumper there by Fox. 7 for Fox, 7 for Wembanyama. Nice two-man game here by the Warriors. Bank shot is good. Pat Spencer, 10-foot jump shot by Gary Payton II with the assist. De'Aaron Fox, wide open three. In and out, no good. Luke Cornett with the offensive rebound. Fox again, wide open for three. And it's good. No closeout there on De'Aaron Fox. Got to cover him. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the dual 1 and dual 2 for tomorrow, but obviously the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Nice jumper there by Pod, and it's good with that floating 10-foot jumper. But again, I'm definitely looking forward to spring training, World Baseball Classic, and getting back into the baseball mix of things for sure. Fox, off the dribble, floater is good. 8-foot pull-up jump shot by De'Aaron Fox is good. 38-31, Warriors. Harper at the top of the key. Harrison Barnes, and that's going to be a reach-in foul on Harrison Barnes. Yeah, I assume, the Sonics and Vegas will be the two, Seattle and Las Vegas will be the two cities that more than likely will end up, getting a team. Seattle for sure, but if they decide to go somewhere other than Vegas, we'll see. But a lot of money to be made there. Cross-court pass, deep three, in and out, no good. And that's the end of the first quarter, 38-31, Golden State with a 7-point lead. Yeah, and again, in this type of game where, the Spurs might be looking uphill, it's not like Victor is going to play 3 quarters and sit for the fourth quarter. Hopefully he'll play a majority of the game, and it kind of feels like they're going to need him to play the full game if they're going to beat Golden State. And Golden State is 2-0 against the Spurs this season. Yeah, but Campbell was injured, though. So again, when a guy is injured, what do you expect? When guys get, beat up and they're not 100%. Hell, even Drake May wasn't 100% in that game. There was a lot of individuals on both teams, that were banged up. And a lot of times you're not going to really know who's injured unless they actually tell you, after the game is over. But again, a lot of times, a lot of these guys are going to keep it to themselves and whatnot. But again, the Seahawks obviously didn't really have a very good offensive line or a very trusted defense, last year or the year before. But again, drafting the right people and getting the right people in the building really does make all the difference. And again, we know that New England will be definitely looking to, try to, copy kind of the, format and scheme of, building that O-line and getting more defensive studs on that side of the ball. But obviously offensive line will be the number one priority. End of the first quarter, 38-31, Warriors with a 7-point lead. And then again, we got the Mavericks and the Lakers tomorrow. And again, I'll either do that or Daytona dual 1 and dual 2. It kind of just depends, if Cooper Flag plays and at least LeBron plays. We know Luka will be out. But if a majority of the Laker players are going to be active, I will consider doing that. Obviously, the first game will be the Bucks going against the Thunder, but, no Giannis, no SGA, so there's no real reason for me to do that game. But the second game on Prime, there's only 3 games on tomorrow. Cooper Flag for Dallas. Obviously, that's a good enough draw by just him himself. But again, if, LeBron isn't going to play and some of the other key contributors, then I'll probably just opt out of that and do the dual 1 and 2 for the NASCAR Cup Series, but we'll kind of wait and see. But we'll be doing a little bit of NASCAR and a little bit of NBA in the next few days. And, hopefully it ends up being a spectacular race on Sunday, which I think it will be. And I don't really have a whole lot of high expectations for the All-Star festivities, but hopefully it ends up being better than I think it's going to be. Carter Bryant coming in for Dylan Harper, Wembanyama for Keldon Johnson, Castle coming in for Cornette, and Julian coming in there for De'Aaron. Started the second quarter here. We'll see what kind of pick and roll and backdoor cuts. Getting a little fancy here. Moody for three, and it's good. Draymond Green with that behind-the-back pass. Very clean. Nice bucket there by Moody. 41-31, Warriors up by 10. Castle. Great to see his effort and heart, after getting banged up, and he's out there. Castle for three. In and out, no good. And we got a loose ball foul, I think, on Draymond Green. Yeah, I was going to mention something about the free throws. You just brought it up. You would have assumed that they would have been able to go to the line a little bit, but kind of helter-skelter first quarter. Lots of points scored, but obviously the refs really weren't blowing a whole lot of whistles in that first quarter. Wemby? Oh, baby! Wemby off the glass and good. They say no basket. Man, give it to him. Unbelievable. Wembanyama is just unreal. I mean, even when the baskets don't count, he does things that are just like crazy. Fade away, pretty much just chucks it up with one hand with barely that second hand on the ball, and it goes in. Wow. Harrison Barnes at the top of the key. Wembanyama. Castle. Good ball movement here. Wembanyama for three again. In and out, no good as the shot clock goes to zero. Tip is good by Castle. I don't even know if he meant to do that. Warriors pushing here in the second quarter, down by a few. Melton for three, and good. 26-foot three-point jumper by DeAnthony Melton. Draymond Green with another assist. And alley-oop to Wembanyama, and he is fouled. I mean, I just never seen a guy that has that kind of length. And the things that he does with the dunks and the length, that doesn't really surprise me. But the dribbling, as a guard, and then the three-point ball, he's much better of a shooter from deep than most people assume. 10:45 left in the second quarter, 44-33, Warriors up by 11. Have you been getting a chance to watch a lot of the Olympics, Sarah? Castle inbounding the ball. Harrison Barnes here at the top of the key. Wembanyama asking for the ball here at the three-point line. Wembanyama fade away and fouled. And that's going to be a shooting foul by Draymond Green. Four fouls here in the last 90 seconds. Wembanyama to the line for two. First free throw by Wembanyama is good. And obviously Draymond complaining to the refs like as he usually does. Yeah, nice to be able to see some of the U.S. Competitors, getting gold, silver, and bronze here early. Second free throw by Wembanyama is good. Wembanyama trying to get his teammates fired up. Draymond Green at the top of the key. Draymond Green open for three. In and out, no good. Another three, in and out, no good. And Carter Bryant there with the defensive rebound after that Pat Spencer 25-foot three-point jumper with the miss. Wow, no foul call down low. Up and under with the layup. And good. Carter Bryant there with the layup. And another layup on the other end there by Quentin Post. DeAnthony Melton with the assist. Kind of crazy that Wembanyama didn't get that call down low, but I mean, he's not going to get every superstar call yet. But Castle going tough to the lane. Good ball movement there from Barnes. Wembanyama for three. In and out, no good. Harrison Barnes with the offensive rebound. Champagny in the corner is good. Carter Bryant with that three in the corner by Champagny. Post for three is good. DeAnthony Melton with another assist. Very fast-paced game here. Ooh, good passing. Corner three, no good by Carter Bryant. Moses Moody with the defensive rebound. Oh, Melton. And Melton with the foul after turning the ball over. 49-40, Warriors up by 9. 8:49 left here in the second quarter. And hopefully Wemby is okay. Cornette back in. First free throw, no good. Carter Bryant missing the first free throw of two. And that's going to be a Warriors full timeout. 8:49, 8:50 to go here in the second quarter. 49-40, Warriors up by 9. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And pretty competitive effort, by the Warriors with no Steph Curry. You would assume the Warriors would get blown out, but I have this theory, as far as like blowouts are concerned, and just overall action. The Eastern Conference is almost unwatchable. We have the Pistons as the best team, and they could hang, with any team in the Western Conference. And again, normally the Knicks are terrible on the road, but they ended up having a major blowout on the Sixers. But it doesn't really feel as entertaining on the Eastern Conference. Now, if Tatum was healthy and the Knicks were more consistent on the road, and then you have Detroit doing what Detroit does, at least you would have three teams that could be kind of watchable. And then obviously we know the Hornets have been one of the hottest teams within the last few weeks. But there is a reason why the Western Conference teams get better ratings. They're just better teams, and it's just an overall better watch. And you have a bigger chance for a blowout in the Eastern Conference in a game than you do in the Western. And again, that definitely hurts ratings on top of, having a lot of these superstars being injured as of late. I don't think I've seen an NBA season like this in quite some time, where we have so many big superstars in the Eastern and Western Conference that are either sitting because they just don't want to play, or they are, legitimately hurt. But, hopefully, it'll get a little bit better after the All-Star break. But Again, it definitely could be better. And again, a lot of these primetime matchups, a lot of the NBA fans are looking forward to watching these games. But then when you end up getting to the day of the game, you usually have one or two superstars that aren't even available. And that definitely hurts the league tremendously. 8:49 left in the second quarter, 49-40, Warriors up by 9. Draymond Green with 5, Melton with 6, Moody with 10, Spencer with 2, Post with 5. Champagnie not on the board yet. Wembanyama with 9, Castle with 4, Barnes with 2, and Bryant in the starting lineup as of right now with 5. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're, looking forward, to watching certain guys, LeBron, Luka, Steph Curry, or whoever, and even in this game, I almost decided just to say fuck it and just not do it, and then wait till tomorrow. And again, we just got to grind it out. Sometimes you just have to come to the realization, that, some of these main superstars are, just not going to be available. And again, it's hurting the league, especially when they have these primetime games on all these different networks. And if you're going to be able to spend the money for like watching a game on Prime, you want the main studs to be available. And unfortunately, in a lot of these primetime matchups, whether it's on Prime or ESPN or NBA TV, usually you have one or two or more main guys not available. Stinks. Free throw is good. Carter Bryant making that second free throw. And we'll see what the Warriors do here in the last 8 minutes. Good ball movement here. Pod coming off the screen with the jumper. Falls down, and it's good. Santos with the assist, and that's going to be an and one for Pod. Castle with the shooting foul. You can't even buy NBA tickets a couple days in advance. Because if you buy a ticket 3 days in advance, there's a chance that you might not see the guy that you want to see in the game. It's like you almost have to wait to the day of the game to make sure. Especially if you have individuals that are game time decisions like tomorrow's Laker-Mavs game where you have 5 or 6 starters or key bench guys that may or may not play. And that'll determine if I end up doing Mavs-Lakers tomorrow with Cooper Flagg and LeBron, or if I do the Daytona 500 dual 1 and dual 2. Alley-oop. Oh! And a big foul there. Santos. Ooh. Champagnie. All right, they're going to go with a Spurs full timeout. This might be a challenge here. 8:15 left in the second quarter, 52-41, Warriors up by 11. And at least in this particular game, obviously if Steph Curry is playing, there's more, eyeballs on the product. You get Steph and you get Wemby and whatnot. But again, I'm proud of the Warriors, not playing like the Sixers today. Again, if you ended up watching that earlier game in the doubleheader, and I was tuning in for a little bit, as well as the Timberwolves and the Blazer game. And again, I was hoping that we would be able to keep up with Anthony Edwards. But again, when you're on the road and you're a young team, even though Denny is back with the bad back, and Scoot Henderson had 15 points off the bench in the first half, but it kind of felt like, we weren't going to be able to keep up, and, we ended up getting kind of beat down. But at least we didn't get beat down as bad as the Sixers did against the Knicks. And again, the Knicks are terrible on the road, but they almost won by 50. So again, it just feels like, there's more blowouts in the Eastern Conference, and there's more competitive basketball in the West. Even if one of the superstars is not available, it still ends up being a good game. There's not going to be a 40-point blowout in this game. So, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. But again, if Giannis and SGA weren't injured, I obviously would do that game tomorrow. And then we'll find out if Cooper Flagg and LeBron are available tomorrow. And again, if they are, we'll probably do that. If they're not, or if one of those guys or a couple guys are out for LA, then I'll just do the dual 1 and dual 2 at Daytona. So, and that'll be on a little bit earlier. I think the first dual 1 is going to be about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and that'll start around 4 p.m.-ish Pacific time, and then the next one will be at like 5:45 to maybe 7:15. So, and that's just kind of for positioning as we get into the Daytona 500 this weekend. So, but again, I want to be able to do some of the All-Star festivities on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Daytona 500 is on at 11:30 Pacific, so I might be able to do the Daytona 500 and the NBA All-Star Game, even though they're kind of doing like the tournament style, USA 1, USA 2, and the World Team. Obviously, the World Team is much better than the teams in the USA 1 or 2, but again, I wish they would just go back to Eastern and Western Conference. I think that would be better, for the NBA. And it would be nice to actually have guys that that are in the dunk contest instead of just a bunch of random guys every year. It's one thing to have like Mac McClung win and whatnot, but still, he's not available in this one. And again, like you'll get some good 3-point shooters when they have the skills competition. You end up having some, good individuals there, but really they've dropped the ball in the dunk contest. It's nothing like it was back when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. It's almost like a disgrace now. And then I feel the actual All-Star game has gone downhill. It's not as good as it used to be. And not just the players that are playing, but the format. And again, I don't know if they'll ever learn. And, it kind of makes me wish that David Stern was still alive and still running things for the NBA. Because I think Adam Silver doesn't really know what he's doing. And it shows. Showtime in the building. What's good? Yeah, Harden and obviously Donovan Mitchell are going to make a great 1-2 punch, and that'll help the Cavs climb the standings in the Eastern Conference, obviously with the Celtics, Knicks, and obviously the Detroit Pistons on top. So it'll definitely give you guys the, ability to go a little bit further, and I agree with that as well. Castle, jumper, in and out, no good. Castle only 1 of 4, but it's kind of crazy that Castle's even playing after the injury. He's a tough SOB. And I respect guys like that are injured that are still playing. The Spurs want that 1 seed. Backdoor cut, up and under. Nice layup. Santos with the layup. Gary Payton second with the assist. Deep 3, Champagnie. Carter Bryant with the offensive rebound. And hammered down low. Gary Payton the second with the foul on Castle. I like Castle a lot too. That's a really nice piece to have with Wembanyama. Al Horford entering the game for Quentin Post. But again, we'll be doing NBA and NASCAR, and then maybe some spring training baseball for the Mariners. It looks like some of the spring training games will be televised. About 16 of I don't know how many. So it sounds like about half. Or a little bit more than half will be at least on Mariners.com, not necessarily Mariners TV that you would have to purchase. But again, they're going to have some of those available. So depending on who's pitching and who's playing, I might end up doing a few of those as well. And then obviously we'll go into the World Baseball Classic, March Madness, and then obviously a little bit more NASCAR. And then obviously at the end of March is when everyone will be happy when we get to the start of the MLB season. I can't wait. Free throw, front rim, no good. Offensive rebound here by the Spurs. Deep 3, Champagnie, in and out, no good. And another offensive board here by the Spurs. Castle, stolen. 3-on-1. Santos with the layup, rejected. And then a fast break the other way. Castle gets caught up in the air. That's a up and down violation there by Castle. Traveling. De'Aaron Fox enters the game for Stephon Castle. Gary Payton II. And Carter Bryant going at it. Yeah, Spurs getting the 1 seed would be big. I don't think that they need it, but they want it, and obviously they're the one team that kind of has figured out the Thunder this year. There's not very many teams that match up with the Thunder as well as San Antonio. And again, it should lead to a very interesting Western Conference final. Pod. Gary Payton II with the floating layup is no good. Spurs with the fast break. Mass substitutions for both teams here. Cornette hands it off. Nice pass, but tipped away. Wembanyama coming back in for Luke Cornette. Draymond Green coming in for Gary Payton II. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Wembanyama going baseline, double team, floater. Jumper is good. He's got such beautiful touch, for being a guy that is so long and lanky. When I see guys, like him, it kind of gives me memories of like guys like Manute Bol and Sean Bradley, where guys were 7'6", 7'7", George Mirasan, but they couldn't really move or dribble or shoot the three, as good, obviously, as Wembanyama, besides Manute Bol shooting deep. Alley-oop, Wembanyama, and it's good. But Wembanyama can dunk, Wembanyama can dribble, Wembanyama can shoot the three. I mean, there really isn't anything that Victor Wembanyama can't do, and he definitely is the best big man over 7'4", 7'5" that we have seen maybe ever, as far as athletic ability. And that's going to be a timeout here by the Warriors. 5:57 left here in the second quarter. 54-46, Warriors up by 8. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And I'm hoping LeBron and a few of the other starters, play tomorrow. It'll definitely make the matchup against Cooper Flagg a little bit more interesting. But, if not, then we can always pivot to NASCAR and whatnot. But Draymond Green keeping his team in it. Up by 8 with less than 6 minutes to go. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And again, you got to think Wembanyama's got to be a little bit gassed, having over 30-plus points in the first half last night. And obviously going back-to-back, a few of these guys are going to be a little fatigued. Wembanyama ended up finishing with 40 and 12. And again, for a guy with size like that, it's just, you never know, in any given game that Wemby plays and you watch, you might see something that you've never seen before. And again, he's done it many, many times already in this early part of his career. 37 points against the Lakers yesterday in the first half. He's only got 13. But again, for Judah, trying to go 20 and 10, should be able to hit that number as long as he doesn't get in foul trouble. Draymond Green going at Wembanyama, and they crash into each other, and that's going to be a foul on Wembanyama. Draymond Green to the line for 2. All right, Showtime. Take care, brother. But tomorrow will be the last set of games in the NBA until we get into the All-Star Weekend festivities. First free throw is good by Draymond Green. Second free throw rattles in, and it is good. Yeah, I can understand your concern with the rebounds, but again, if he ends up, being down low, sometimes he can pick up 2 or 3 rebounds just in one possession, just getting offensive rebounds off, the glass that he might have missed. Deep 3 is good. Vassell there with a 25-foot three-point jumper. Carter Bryant with the assist. Draymond Green here at the top of the key. Nice pass. Good ball movement here by the Warriors. And a hard shooting foul here by San Antonio. Moses Moody to the line. Vassell there with the shooting foul. Moses Moody to the line for 2. Oh, you only need 8. Megan in the building. How are you? First free throw by Moses Moody is good. Second free throw is good. Spurs walk the ball up the floor with some purpose. Wembanyama down low. Looking for someone to cut. Pump fake. Baseline. Layup is no good by Carter Bryant. Draymond Green there with the defensive rebound. Al Horford for 3. In and out, no good. Good offensive rebound there by Santos. And Pat Spencer steps out of bounds. Spurs walking the ball up the floor. Nice spin move there. Corner 3. In and out, no good. Santos with the defensive rebound. Horford. Pick and roll. Right back to him. And it looks like that's a kickball violation by Wembanyama. Got about 4 minutes to go here before half. Warriors playing very well, with no Steph Curry tonight. And I was hoping that they would be able to put up a fight at home, and they definitely are. Draymond Green for 3. Front rim, in and out, no good. Carter Bryant with the defensive rebound. And De'Aaron Fox out of bounds, and that's a turnover, San Antonio. Pick and roll. And Al Horford fumbles the bag there in that pass. Out of bounds. Turnover, Warriors. It'll be interesting to see Porzingis available, obviously, for the Warriors whenever that day comes. Wembanyama with a little pick and roll. Corner 3. In and out, no good. Warriors with the push. Floater. Airballed. Spurs on the fast break. Wembanyama, 2-man game. Wembanyama asking for it. Spin move by Victor. Off the glass, in and out, no good. Draymond Green with the rebound. Draymond Green, coast to coast. Nice pass. Swing it. Right back to him. Draymond is open for 3. In and out, no good. And that's going to be a loose ball foul, I think, on Moses Moody. Carter Bryant to the line for 2. Gary Payton II coming into the game here for Al Horford. First free throw by Carter Bryant is good. And they're cutting into the lead. And obviously, anytime you end up playing a back-to-back and you have a game like Victor did last night against the Lakers, you knew that it was going to be a little challenging, but nothing that they can't overcome. Gary Payton II coming in for Al Horford. Second free throw by Carter Bryant. Rolls and rattles in, and it's good. And then Harrison Barnes coming in for Carter Bryant. 58-51 with less than 3 minutes to go. Wembanyama. Draymond Green. Good ball movement here by the Warriors. And you got a foul with the body by the Spurs. De'Aaron Fox with the loose ball foul. 2:42 left in the second quarter. 58-51. Warriors up by 7. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Fox over Wemby. No good. And we got a loose ball foul as Pod ends up hitting the floor pretty hard. And Pod is going to the line for 2. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First free throw by Podazemski is good. I see you, Brandon. He's a scrapper out there. 11 points, 4 for 4, 1 rebound and 1 assist off the bench. Second free throw is good. A crafty lefty. It's always nice to have crafty lefties on your team, whether it's starters or off the bench. All right, Dylan Harper. See what he can do here as he brings the ball up the floor. Coast to coast by Harper. Layup, in and out, no good. Fast break here by the Warriors. Nice pass down low. Reverse layup is good. Pat Spencer with the running layup. Gary Payton II with the beautiful assist. De'Aaron Fox. Pick and roll with Wembanyama. Fox with the floater is good on the other end. 9-foot floating jump shot by De'Aaron Fox. Another crafty lefty. Pod. Deep Steph Curry-like 3. Bang! Oh, I thought he made it. In and out, no good. Wembanyama with the rebound. I thought Pod was going to nail that. Good pass. Harper down low and 1. Great shot there by Dylan Harper. Beautiful assist by De'Aaron Fox. Moses Moody with the shooting foul, and Dylan Harper will try to complete the and 1. Santos coming in for Draymond Green. Horford coming in for Pat Spencer. And Dylan Harper to the line. Free throw rattles in, and it is good by Harper. Less than 2 minutes to go here. Wembanyama. Corner 3. Wembanyama in his face. And he drills it. Wow. Beautiful 3. Oh, stolen by Pod. 3 on 2. Layup by Gary Payton II. Rolls out. Wembanyama trying to get that rebound. And the Spurs finally collect themselves. 2 on 3. Layup. Rejected. Wow, getting physical and a little chippy out there. Gary Payton II blocks Vassal's 4-foot running layup. Yeah, a lot of back and forth. And Harrison Barnes with that offensive rebound. And you got about, 1:14 left here in the second quarter. 65-58. Warriors up by 7. Now, only 5 more rebounds in the second half for Wemby. Should be able to do that. So you're looking at 20 and 8? That's definitely, doable. First free throw is good there by Barnes. Second free throw is good. Down to the last minute here before halftime. Wembanyama trying to cover Gary Payton II. Pod at the top of the key. Little pick and roll with Gary Payton II. Pod. Good defense there by Dylan Harper. Offensive rebound by Santos. Rejected by Wembanyama. Push. Harper with the offensive rebound. Go up. There we go. Beautiful offensive rebound by Dylan Harper. And he gets the layup to go. Cutting into the lead now. Nice pass down low. Beautiful cut by Gary Payton II. Good court vision there. D'Anthony Melton with the great look and the assist. 67-60, Warriors up by 7. Payton's got 10 off the bench, 4 for 8 shooting. Beautiful. Harper at the top of the key. Pod on him. Pick and roll with Wemby. And Horford coming up there with the deflection. Draymond Green coming in for Gary Payton II. And I'm glad the Warriors, didn't play like the Sixers in the earlier game today. As New York, who traditionally is a horrible road team, absolutely dismantled them on the road. Wembanyama for 3. In and out, no good. Offensive rebound, another 3 attempt. No good, but there is a foul on Santos. And with 0.3 left, Vassell is going to go to the line for 3. And this is big, to be able to get a cheap 3 at the very end of the half, even though the bucket didn't fall. But to be able to get the 3 free throws will be huge if he can make them. First free throw by Vassell is good. Second free throw is good. And third free throw is good. And we are at half. 67-63. Good, last 5-minute stretch there for the Spurs. And it's not like they can give it to Wembanyama on every possession. And with no Steph Curry, Warriors fighting and playing like he's there and he's playing. So, again, a very competitive matchup, much better than the Knicks Sixer game that was on earlier on ESPN. We're at halftime, 67-63, Warriors up by 4, and it's anybody's guess on who's going to end up winning this one. Dank in the building. What's good? Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Let's take a look at some of the stat line here. Victor Wembanyama, 13 points, 5 for 10, 4 rebounds, no assist, only 1 personal foul. A little bit of a far stretch from yesterday's game when he had, over 30 in the first half and ended with 40 and 12 against the Lakers, but still, a solid, first half number for Victor Wembanyama. Fox with 14, Vassell with 6, Barnes with 6, and Harper with 8. And then on the flip side, Draymond Green, 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. So, doing a little bit of everything for the Warriors. Doesn't have to be the guy that shoots every single time, and obviously not the greatest shooter anyways. Santos with 7, Melton with 6, Horford with 4, and Pod with 12 off the bench, which is huge. Dank in the building, what's good? Andrea in the building, what's good? Yeah, I mean, like I said, Wemby will be a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that, as long as he doesn't have any major injuries and as long as those legs can, keep up, with his, long arms and his body. Hopefully he'll be able to have a very long career. And I mean, it's good for the NBA, considering we have so many superstars that get injured, on every given night, that we'll at least have one guy that has been primarily injury-free so far in his early career. Thank God. 67-63, Warriors up by 4. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think, as I've been watching, a lot of NBA, within the last couple months, the Pistons are definitely by far the best team in the East, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got the Knicks and you got the Cavs, obviously, with the trade with Harden and Donovan Mitchell, which will help them. But if you're looking at starters, bench, and everything that they have, Detroit is by far the best team. So it would be shocking if they don't make the finals to represent the Eastern Conference. And then on the West, it kind of feels like it more than likely is going to be the Thunder. And if it's not them, it's going to be the Spurs. But again, if the Spurs and the Thunder play in the Western Conference Finals, that might be the one team that SGA doesn't really want to see. In the first 4 outings, Spurs took 3 out of 4. But again, when it goes to the playoffs, it could play out a little bit differently. But I think if I'm looking at roster and everything that they have, I kind of like the Thunder's team slightly more, than the Spurs. I think the Spurs have enough talent to win it all, but if I'm looking at the bench and some of those pieces, I think the Thunder are a little bit deeper, based on production overall, player for player, but not by much, and again, obviously SGA is an incredible player, but again, he's got to be able to stay healthy for them to be able to go back to back. And again, they won the championship last year, but again, it might be the Spurs year this year. But again, if the Spurs are able to get past the Thunder, would they be able to get past Detroit? And that'll be, a little bit of a tougher test, I think, than people think, because I think a lot of people haven't really watched a lot of Piston basketball this year. And again, if you got a chance to watch that Knicks game that I did a few games back, Cade Cunningham is the real deal, but it's more than just him. It's the whole entire roster. And we saw, a few fights a couple days ago and a few guys get suspended, like Isaiah Stewart and whatnot. But again, that Pistons team is a true team. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what we end up getting for a finals matchup, whether it be the Spurs and the Pistons, the Thunder and the Pistons, or if some weird reason the Pistons get eliminated, who would be that team that could step up? Knicks, Boston, the Cavs? We'll have to kind of wait and see. Yeah, Hornets have been good in the last few weeks, but they're not good enough to win it all. But I do love Con Kneppel, obviously Cooper Flagg's teammate at Duke. Those are the 2 top guys that are obviously front runners for Rookie of the Year with Edgecombe on the Sixers, who's probably 3rd right now. But Kneppel and Cooper Flagg are definitely the top 2. Yeah, the Gonzaga upset, I did see that as well. Yeah, and it's a little weird for Oregon Duck basketball. Normally, they're not like one of the worst teams in the whole conference. This is like the first time ever I've ever seen them, that, low. But obviously, anytime you can end up being even a lower school than Oregon and end up getting a victory on a team like Gonzaga, that's always big. And again, Gonzaga is always a team that people, I feel like, root for, in the tourney, but again, they always seem to fall short. And, we'll see if this year will be any different. 67-63, Warriors up by 4. Spurs 7 for 27 from deep, Warriors 9 for 24. So 26% to 38%. No Steph Curry. And again, Warriors up by 4 with no Steph. Very impressive. And then we'll find out tomorrow morning, based on what we end up getting, injury-wise. But hopefully, we're going to get some of these individuals to be healthy. First game will be the Bucks and the Thunder, but no Giannis and no SGA, so I'm not doing that. The Blazers are playing the Jazz at 6, so Denny versus Markkanen. I'll watch that in my free time. And then we got the Mavericks with Cooper Flagg and possibly LeBron James tomorrow if they're able to go. But again, there's about 4 or 5 Laker individuals that may or may not play tomorrow. So if a lot of those guys, including LeBron, don't play, then I will be doing the duel at Daytona for NASCAR, Duel 1 and Duel 2. And that's kind of a precursor and a little bit of a preview of the Daytona 500 that will be on Sunday at 11:30 Pacific. And then obviously we got the NBA All-Star festivities starting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it used to be, right, like rookie sophomore game. And then obviously you get the skills, 3-point and dunk on Saturday, and then the actual All-Star game that's, broken up into kind of a tournament style, USA 1, USA 2 in the world on Sunday, which it should be Eastern Western Conference. But again, I'm going to try to do as much action as I can, and hope to see you guys there. Yeah, it's very odd to be able to see them, struggling. I've never, and again, obviously going from the, Pac-8 to the Pac-10 to the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, you're going to be playing some, pretty good schools and whatnot. But again, I don't really watch them on the regular, so. But I usually check the standings and any type of highlights that come up on my feed, and just kind of shocking on how terrible they are this year. Oh, yeah. The Malice in the Palace. I watched that game live. Jermaine O'Neal sliding on his knees and hitting that fan. But again, if someone throws a drink on you, where you're laying on the table, again, a lot of individuals may have let that go, and we obviously know that Artest is a hothead, and again, imagine if it happened to Draymond Green. He probably would have done the same thing. So it kind of just depends on what player ends up getting the drink on them. And again, most players would have, got angry and, probably cursed and then let it go. But again, sometimes, enough is enough, and then things get a little wild and crazy. But again, we have seen a little bit of an uptick in fights as of late. And I don't know if that's just a memo from the commish and Adam Silver, since all of the main superstars or majority of the superstars have been injured or not available to play game in and game out. So, it definitely will bring some more eyeballs to the sport. But, overall, it's hurting, the league when you're not having your best 20 players in the NBA available on every given night. Facts. Yeah, and the Hornets are fun, LaMelo Ball and Colin Kneppel. And again, it shows you, with a guy like Kneppel, how much of a difference, the team, plays with him, kind of controlling, the duties at point guard and shooting guard. So, and again, sometimes all you need is that fresh face, as a rookie to come in to kind of, change kind of the vibe of the team. And, he definitely has done that. Harden making his debut there with the Cavs. Big deep three. And again, Harden and Donovan Mitchell are going to make a great 1-2 combo. And again, that definitely will challenge the Knicks and the Celtics and the Pistons, in the playoffs. And a big 138-113 win. Donovan Mitchell with 30 and 5. Harden's number's a little bit lower, but again, he can be more of a facilitator. Oh, KD in the corner for three. That's another team that could end up, doing a little bit of damage in the playoffs. KD and the Rockets. They don't really have as deep of a bench as some of the other teams in the West, but the Rockets and the Clippers going back at each other from playing last night. Eason for three, and it's no good, and Clippers winning by 3. Disappointing loss there for KD, 21-8, but 8 turnovers. Got to be better. Oh, Jalen Williams with a hamstring. That's not good. Wembanyama with the flush and the highlight there. Such a special player. And just imagine if he gets a little bit bigger, muscle mass wise. I mean, he already is unstoppable, but again, you get another 10 or 15 pounds of muscle on that body. It's definitely going to take his game to another level. 67-63, Warriors up by 4 at half. We got a few commercial breaks away from getting into the third quarter. Very good chance it'll go over 215. Because then at that point, that would be like 110, 105, and it's 67-63. So I think that there is a good chance it will go over 215. It kind of feels like it's going to be in the, in the 120s, for both teams, at this stage. So I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but, I would assume somewhere in that, 220 to 240 range, I would assume. But 120 and 120 would be 240, so there's a chance it could get close to that. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Draymond having a very efficient game, even though he's 2 for 7 from the field. 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. On pace for a triple-double. And again, that's something that he needed to do if they were going to end up being competitive with the Spurs here at home tonight, especially with no Steph Curry available. Yeah, I think you have a good chance, man. Especially with both teams shooting as good as they have been, so far in the first half. 50% shooting for the Warriors with no Steph Curry, 44% for the Spurs. Obviously 3-point percentage could be a little bit better. San Antonio's 7 for 27 and Golden State's 9 for 24, but both teams are shooting the free throws pretty good. 12 for 14 for San Antonio, 8 for 9 for Golden State. So we'll see where it goes, but they're looking at what, 238.5? The spread was 7.5, by San Antonio. And again, we'll see where it goes. We're just getting ready to start the second half here. Good luck, and I hope you end up getting it. Yeah, I mean, especially with both teams, over 60 and one team almost at 70. So, you couldn't have asked for a better start. So Moody comes in for Pod. Spencer coming in for Horford. Castle coming in for Harper. Champagny coming in there for Barnes. So you get a lot of the starters back in. Good ball movement here early in the third quarter. Draymond with the floater. In and out, no good. Offensive rebound, no good. Santos with the offensive rebound. Deep three. It's good. D'Anthony Melton with a big 27-foot three-point jumper. Santos with the assist. Beautiful. Fox at the top of the key. And misses the layup there, and that's going to be a foul on De'Aaron Fox. Loose ball foul. Third foul on Fox. 5-game winning streak for San Antonio, trying to get to 6. We'll see what Golden State has in store here on this possession. Draymond Green to Santos. Woo, big 3, and it's good. Moody with the deep 3. Just out here in the Pacific Northwest. Planet Earth, my guy. Pacific Northwest. And that one goes out of bounds. Draymond arguing with the ref. Nothing new there. Corner 3. No, in and out, no good. Draymond Green with the rebound. Push here for the Golden State Warriors. Wide open 3. Bang, and it's good. Anthony Melton, 26-foot three-point jumper. Pat Spencer with the assist. And that's going to be San Antonio's first full timeout. 76-63 with 10:39 left in the third quarter. $23 subs away from 23,400. 10:39 left in the third quarter. 76-63. Warriors up by 13 with 10:39 left in the third quarter. Hopefully this one will be decided, late in the fourth quarter. Much better than that Sixers-Knicks game. Much better than the Blazers and Timberwolves earlier today as well. So definitely looking for a competitive matchup. Green was 7, Santos was 7, Melton with 12, Moody with 15, Spencer with 4, and on the flip side, Champagny still hasn't scored yet. Wembanyama with 13, Fox with 14, Vessel with 6, and Castle with 3. Waiting for that Spurs big run in the third quarter. We're going to get it at some point, whether it's late third quarter or beginning of fourth, where Wemby just goes off. Probably not going to go off for, 15 straight points or something of that like he did yesterday, but you never know. Wemby is one of those guys that can heat up at any given moment. But if Draymond Green is covering him, or they have a kind of a collective group of guys, they're definitely making it a little bit harder, and they're a little bit more physical than what the Lakers were doing yesterday against them. But again, the Lakers didn't really have anybody playing. They had a bunch of bench guys. So, of course, Victor Wembanyama went off. But again, if you had a bunch of the Laker starters that normally would have played, they had like 5 or 6 guys out yesterday. So, again, it was an awesome night by Wembanyama. But if you ended up having, Smart and Ayton and LeBron and Luka and all those individuals that ended up not playing, that stat line probably wouldn't have been 40 and 12. And he wouldn't have scored 30 in the first half. Still probably would have had a good first half, but not that much. Mike in the building. What's good, brother? Spurs inbound the ball. Castle bringing the ball up the floor. Wembanyama to De'Aaron Fox. Alley-oop. Tip and is good. Wembanyama with the alley-oop layup. Fox with the assist. That was pretty. Draymond Green at the top of the key. Hands it off. Goes right back to Draymond Green. Nice pass. Back to Green. Pick and roll. Back to Draymond. Alley-oop to Draymond. Up and under on Wemby. And one. And Draymond Green getting the foul on Victor Wembanyama. Good patience there with the pump fake to draw Victor in the air. And then Draymond Green doing Draymond Green things. Nice patience there by Draymond down low. Didn't need a pump fake. Just had to be able to hesitate for just a split second, and that was enough time to get it over Victor, who normally is going to block that shot. Free throw is good by Draymond Green, completing the and one. 79-65, Warriors up by 14 with about 9 minutes to go in the third. Oh, bodies hit the floor, and that's going to be an offensive foul on the Spurs. Or is that going to be on Draymond? And Draymond Green with the personal foul. Draymond Green with his third personal. The ball boy cleaning up the court there after that spill. Castle, Wembanyama, back to Castle. Pump fake, up and under, and it's good. A nice and one there by Stephon Castle. Victor Wembanyama with the assist. Moses Moody with that shooting foul. Castle to the line for one. Definitely getting a lot more opportunities at the line here for San Antonio, which they had, none in the first quarter, and they're starting to, chip away, so to speak, here against this Warriors team that has no Steph Curry tonight. Castle. Free throw is good. 79-68. Spurs down by 11. Castle at the top of the key. Pass to Draymond. Draymond looking for someone. Castle. Wembanyama is there. Reverse layup. No good, and Castle gets called with a personal foul. Pat Spencer to the line for two. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 9:30 left here in the third quarter. 80-68, Warriors up by 12. Free throw is missed. Celebrity game, I won't be doing that, but the Rising Stars, I might do that. And then obviously you got All-Star Saturday night, which I may do that one as well. And then the All-Star game. So again, we do have the Daytona 500 on Sunday early, and then the NBA All-Star festivities later. So I'm going to try to do both on Sunday. It'll be a long day, but I think it'll be worth it as long as there's no rain delays in the Daytona 500. Castle walking the ball up the floor. Crossover. Poked away. Great defense there by Golden State. Good ball movement. Wembanyama. Pump fake. Fox. Baseline. Good ball movement here. Open three. In and out. No good. And Golden State there with the rebound. Melton hits the deck. No foul call. Santos. Baseline. Reverse layup, in and out, no good. Victor Wembanyama gets that rebound, pushes the ball up the floor. Weird seeing Victor Wembanyama bring the ball up the floor. Layup is good. De'Aaron Fox with the beautiful layup, and that's going to be Golden State's first full timeout. 80-70, Warriors still up by 10. Yeah, I mean, it was a great run, and again, it wasn't, the thing for me is that I don't think people realize, unless you are a stat nerd like myself or you're on social media, Jason Myers ended up scoring the most points ever, in the NFL season, and he ended up making a record with 5 field goals. To me, he should have been the MVP. They never really have given an award like that in the Super Bowl to a kicker, but to be able to get out to that big lead, and having 4 field goals to start off with that 12-0 lead, and again, normally it was either going to be him, or maybe Kenneth Walker, as obviously the third as like the main guys that would be, potentially MVP of the Super Bowl. And they're not going to typically give it to a kicker. But again, if you were, this would have been the game to do it. And another thing that makes that Seahawks team one of the best of all time, they didn't have a turnover, not just in the Super Bowl, but in the complete run in the playoffs. Do you know how rare that is to not even have one fucking turnover, not one interception by Darnold, not one fumble, by the running backs, or Darnold or, JSN or anybody else? Again, it's one of the best teams that we've seen overall. And again, they lost 3 games in the regular season by a combined 9 points, right? So week 1 to the Niners, week 5 to the Buccaneers, and then week 11 to the Rams. So I was the only team with the Buccaneers outside of the NFC West to beat them, and they lost by 4, in week 1 to the Niners, 3 to the Buccaneers in week 5, and then 2 to the Rams in week 11. And then after week 11, they didn't lose any games the rest of the way. So again, the Legion of Boom and that team with Russell Wilson was great, but after watching that run, you kind of feel that this team this year was better than that team, that won it. But both teams were very dominant. And again, they went to the Super Bowl twice and won in, dominant fashion. Same thing with the Buccaneers. We went 2 times. We won in both dominant fashions and, again, beat the Raiders and then the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, we'll see if Kenneth Walker III will, come back. And we obviously know that Kubiak is now the head coach of the Raiders, and he'll be probably trying to get Kenneth Walker III to come over. But obviously with the parade and everything that happened today, we'll see if Schneider and Kenneth Walker III can renegotiate and whatnot. And again, I'm definitely excited to be able to see what Seattle has to bring next year. And hopefully with the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl, that'll rub off on the Mariners. And hopefully the Mariners will be able to play the Dodgers in the World Series this upcoming year, and then we can win it all. So again, it would be really awesome to be able to have the vibes very high in the Pacific Northwest. And again, we got to be one of the final 3 teams with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers, but we just fell a little bit short in ALCS Game 7. And, again, with the team that we have this year, we should have a pretty good chance to, do just as good as we did last year, but hopefully we can go 1 game further and we can do something that the Blue Jays weren't able to do last year, is go all the way and beat the Dodgers. And again, the Dodgers are always going to be the, that top dog. But again, if there is a team that could beat them, I definitely think, the Blue Jays and the Mariners are going to have just as good of a chance as any team in the American League to be able to knock off, Goliath. And again, so we'll see what happens. I mean, the first 3 quarters of the Super Bowl were a little underwhelming, but again, the 4th quarter ended up making up for it. Wembanyama on Draymond. Santos. Wemby with some weak side help. Draymond looking at 3 with Wemby with those long arms. Up and under. Layup is no good. Wembanyama with a great rebound. Castle. Baseline. Coast to coast. Layup. In and out, no good. Draymond Green with the rebound, and the Warriors pushing on the fast break. Nice pass. Corner 3. Santos. In and out, no good. Castle with the rebound. San Antonio trying to cut into this lead to get it under double digits. Castle going hard to the rim, in and out, no good. Pod with the rebound. And Wemby not getting any calls here on the road tonight. Obviously got a physical defender in Draymond on him most of these possessions. Open 3, in and out, no good. And that's going to be a loose ball foul on Castle. Castle's got 4. Al Horford enters the game for D'Anthony Melton. Dylan Harper coming in for Castle. And Johnson coming in for Champagne. Nice. I ended up watching some of the parade and some of the things that were said on the mic. And again, it definitely was a wild experience for many. I hope to be able to go up to Seattle when the Mariners win the World Series. And again, even though it would be a 3.5-hour drive, if the Mariners do win the World Series or when they win the World Series, whenever that day may be, I definitely will be up there for the parade. Draymond, two-man game here with little pick and roll. Layup off the glass is good. Pat Spencer with a 6-foot, 2-point layup. Draymond Green with the assist. Wembanyama and the Spurs with the push. Dylan Harper, corner three, in and out, no good. Santos with the rebound, hands it off to Pod. Pick and roll here with Draymond Green. Back to Draymond. Nice pass, backdoor cut, and tipped away. Yeah, but they're coming off a back-to-back against the Lakers, and again, Wemby's not really getting a lot of the calls with this more physical defense that they're seeing here with Golden State. Draymond, Pod with the pump fake on Wemby and said, nope, can't take that shot. Spencer with the left, and it's good. Fast break, Wemby, corner three. No good. Warriors on the other end. Draymond Green. Good ball movement here by the Warriors. Horford backing down. Nice backdoor cut. And that's going to be a goaltending there on Wembanyama. And another full timeout by San Antonio. And this is the most that they've been down the whole game. And again, they're going to need, some type of burst and some type of, a little juice from someone from the bench. And again, it's not like, Wembanyama can single-handedly, take every shot the rest of the way, especially being a big man. 6:25 left in the third quarter, 86-70 Warriors. And that's the thing that I kind of worry about with the Spurs if they're going to go on a deep run. If Wembanyama gets in foul trouble, or if he's not getting the calls by the refs, who's going to be the second guy that the Spurs can trust? I'm not sure if they really have one. You have like Fox and a few of these other guys that are good players, but can you trust them? And again, I feel like the role players for the Thunder are a little bit better than the role players for the Spurs. Even though the Spurs have had the Thunder's number, again, I kind of worry, when Wembanyama's not going for 30 or 40 or 50, and if he has a kind of a lower game, who's going to be that other guy or the two other guys that are going to be able to step up? And in some games, they have those guys, and in others, they start to go on and get blown out. And hopefully the Spurs will be able to make the proper adjustments because right now they're down by 16. TJ in the building, what's good? Congratulations on that Seahawk victory. I ended up calling the Super Bowl, and I know a lot of people were, doing Super Bowl parties and whatnot, and we're a little bit busy, but we had a blast here on the channel calling the game, and even though it was a little, slow in the first three quarters, fourth quarter definitely made up for it, and, the Pacific Northwest is champions again, and it's a great thing, because, again, we don't get a whole lot of love in Oregon and Washington, but again, when our teams, end up being great, we usually are championship great. We may not win the championship every time we get there, in an Oregon or Washington team, but as of late, you've seen some pretty good teams in college and in the professional ranks, go pretty far. And again, we'll hopefully see the Mariners do the thing that the Seahawks were able to do this year, and hopefully the Mariners will end up being World Series champs this upcoming season. Layup is good. Santos with the shooting foul, and Keldon Johnson going for the N1. How was the parade? It looked amazing. Free throw is good. Trying to cut into this lead. Warriors are playing very well with no Steph Curry here tonight. Pick and roll. Horford rolling to the basket. Open three by Payton. In and out, no good. Spurs here with the fast break. Johnson going at him, and it's good. Santos had no answer there. Cornette with the assist. Spencer. Wide open three. Front rim, in and out, no good. Cornette with the rebound. Dylan Harper behind the back. Baseline. 360. Passes it to Cornette, back at the top of the key. Up and under by Johnson, no good. Gets his own board, and it rolls in. Nice job there by Keldon Johnson. Pat Spencer goes for the lob, no good. Bad pass, turnover there by Cornette. Dylan Harper takes the contact and one. Beautiful. Basket is good, and that is going to be a Warriors full timeout. And just like that, a 16-point lead down to 7, and it shows you like how quickly things can change, in the NBA, especially when the game is so kind of helter-skelter. And again, if the Spurs were going to shoot threes, maybe this game is already over, and then the Warriors continue to add on to the lead. But they were very smart to attack the paint, try to get some and ones. And again, now that 16-point lead has been erased, and now they're only down by 7. Well, I live in Oregon, not Washington. So obviously, if I lived in Washington and I grew up there, I would be Seattle everything. So for me right now, it's, I'm a Mariner fan because I met Griffey when I was a kid. I'm a Kraken fan because, we don't have any professional team in Oregon for hockey. We have, the Winterhawks, who's like in a division lower, obviously, in that, division where, it's still exciting, but it's not NHL hockey. But, living in Oregon, it's majority of Oregon and Washington teams. And really the only team that I represent and root for that's outside of Oregon is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just because when I was growing up, I'm more of a defensive oriented fan. Seattle didn't really have defensive guys. I did like, Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, back in the day, but I didn't want to be a bandwagon fan. And I had a feeling that they would never win again after that Steve Young Super Bowl with Dion and Jerry Rice. And I was right. Just waited a couple more years. And, when Brooks and Sapp got drafted, that's, kind of felt like home to me, and I like that type of style of football, which is something that you don't really see nowadays. But a majority of the teams, Ducks, Blazers, Kraken, Mariners, and then just Buccaneers for my only team outside of the Pacific Northwest. So, but again, if I lived in Washington, if I lived in Seattle, it would have been Seattle everything. But I did watch a lot of Sonics games growing up when I was a kid on top of the Blazers. So, open three, in and out, no good. And out of bounds to the Spurs. Yeah, I'm in Oregon. Ooh, big dunk there. Quentin Post. Melton with the three, no good. Horford with the rebound. Melton. Barnes with the coverage. Post with the three, and it's good. 23-foot three-point jumper. Melton with the assist. Yeah, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Detlef Schrempf. I mean, it was always exciting, the I-5 rivalry with the Sonics and the Blazers, or the Blazers and the Lakers, or the Sonics and the Lakers. So Barnes with the floater, and it's good. 7-foot fadeaway jump shot. Dylan Harper with the assist. Little pick and roll here with Pod. Pump fake. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Pod. De'Aaron Fox enters the game for Vassell. Spurs trying to cut into this lead, only down by 6 here. Harper at the top of the key, pick and roll. Cornette with a nice screen. Harper with the fadeaway jumper. In and out, no good. Tipped. And the Warriors with the rebound. Melton, strong layup. And it's good. Gets the friendly bounce. Quentin Post with the assist. Big three by De'Aaron Fox, and it's good. Dylan Harper with a beautiful assist. Pod hands it off. Ooh, nice pass. Pod underneath. Pump fake, baseline, and hacked from behind. And now we got some mass substitutions. Draymond Green coming in for Al Horford. Wembanyama coming in for Dylan Harper. And Champagne coming in for Luke Cornette. Quentin Post to the line. Yeah, but always Blazers since I live in Oregon. Wembanyama's at what, 15 and 6? Second free throw is good by Quentin Post. Fox dribbling the ball up the court here in the third quarter with about 2 minutes to go. Pick and roll with Wembanyama. Wembanyama posting up at the free throw line. And Wembanyama with the layup, no good. And he gets the contact, but no foul call. Draymond on the other end with the layup. It is good. Moses Moody with the assist. Draymond's going to give you that physicality. And again, he's a pest. He just doesn't go away. Fox up and under and draws the foul. Quentin Post with the shooting foul. And De'Aaron Fox to the line for 2. Pat Spencer entering the game for De'Anthony Melton. Spurs are chipping away. And I'm glad that, more times than not that we usually, select games to do on the channel that are close. Every once in a while we'll get a blowout like that Pistons-Knicks game. I thought New York would play better against Detroit a couple days ago, but, you just never know what you're going to get with the Eastern Conference. First free throw is good. Second free throw by De'Aaron Fox. Rolls and rattles in, and it is good. 94-88. This is the closest the Spurs have been in a minute. Pick and roll here at the top of the key with Draymond. Nice pass by Pod. Corner 3. In and out, no good. De'Aaron Fox at the top of the key. Pick and roll with Wembanyama. Wembanyama for 3. In and out, no good. Pod coming in with a big skying rebound, and Warriors pushing the basketball. Little fast break. Corner 3. Airballed. And Harrison Barnes with the rebound. And it goes back to Barnes. Post up Wembanyama. Trying to get Wembanyama the ball. Wemby. Ooh, takes a big hit. And finally gets a good foul call. Wembanyama to the line for 2. Quentin Post with a physical hard foul. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First free throw by Wembanyama is good. De'Anthony Melton coming in for Quentin Post. And second free throw incoming for Victor Wembanyama. This has been a really good quarter for the Spurs. You know, when it looked like the game was going to kind of get out of hand, when they were down by 16, you know, they did what good teams do. They attack the paint, you know, try to go to the line, slow the game down instead of just shooting 3-ball after 3-ball like most teams do. Second free throw by Wembanyama, straight swish, and it's good. Less than a minute to go here in the third quarter. Draymond Green, pick and roll. Pass it to Draymond. And poked away, stolen by the Spurs. Fast break, 2-on-1. Harrison Barnes, alley-oop, and it's good. Oh my. Beautiful alley-oop. Draymond Green walking the ball up the floor. Pod looking for someone. Good defense here by the Spurs. Floater, airballed, and that's a shot clock violation. Huge run by San Antonio. Spurs inbound the ball to De'Aaron Fox. Clock is winding down. Fox, floater, fadeaway, bang, and it's good. Fox at the buzzer. 19-foot pull-up jump shot, and they just erased a 16-point lead by Golden State in the third quarter. Wow. Game is tied, 94-94, end of the third quarter. We didn't really get as much scoring in that third quarter than that we probably wanted, but again, great job by San Antonio winning that quarter, and now the game is tied up at 94. It's anybody's game. Hell of a comeback. And again, you don't see too many teams down by 16 and coming back all 16 points in one quarter. You know, usually it takes a quarter and a half or 2 quarters to make up that difference. And again, great job by the San Antonio Spurs. End of the third quarter, 94-94, we're knotted up. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Let's take a look at some of the stat line for the players that are in the game. All right, let's see what we got here. So Draymond Green, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, only 3 assists away from a triple-double. You know, Draymond doing Draymond things. Melton with 14, Spencer with 9, Gary Payton II, 10 points off the bench, and Pod with 12 points off the bench as well. Champagny still with 0. Victor Wembanyama with 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. So we should be able to get a little bit more out of Victor Wembanyama before this one is over. De'Aaron Fox with a huge night today. 9 for 13 shooting, 23 points and 6 assists. Harrison Barnes with 8 and Johnson with 12. Fun game to call here on Wednesday evening. Gained a sub since the last commercial break. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired, not only today, but this year in 2026. Yeah, well, you have to assume based on that run the Spurs did in the third quarter, you know, that they would be the team to win the game, you know, with the momentum. But again, it's not like Golden State can respond, but, you know, obviously if they had Steph Curry, you know, maybe that would be, you know, one of the deciding factors. But again, the Warriors have played very well with no Curry tonight. And I'm really happy it's just not a Spurs 20-point blowout at this point. It's going to be decided in the fourth quarter. And again, that's one of the best comebacks I've seen in one quarter all season. 16 points, all made up in that third quarter. And it kind of felt like the Warriors were going to pull away. And if the Spurs would have, shot threes on every possession, down 16, then they probably would be down 30 right now. But they were smart. They attacked the paint, drew a couple and ones, made their free throws. And just like that, we're sitting at a 94-94 tie. And they went on a nice 24-8 run in that third quarter. Beautiful. Paisley's in the other room, laying down, just relaxing. She'll probably come in here at some point before the game is over, though. Wanting to get a little snack or to see what I'm doing. Draymond at the top of the key. Pod. Down low to Santos. They're looking for a cutter. Santos. And whistle is blown, and we have a foul. Keldon Johnson with the personal foul. And Wemby and Draymond going at it. Pushing each other back and forth 5-6 times. Warriors inbound the ball to Draymond Green. Santos. Pod off the screen. Pod with the floater. In and out, no good. Wembanyama with the rebound. Harrison Barnes, coast to coast. And a big dunk by Harrison Barnes. Victor Wembanyama with the assist. And all the momentum has shifted to San Antonio. 3 points and 1 rebound. I think you're going to get it. And luckily, you just, went for the lower rebound number rather than the double-digit rebound number, which would have been much harder. Pod, looking for someone to cut. Draymond being guarded by Wembanyama. Santos down low. Tipped, stolen by San Antonio. And now San Antonio with the push. Wide open. Spin move. Santos with the foul, and Keldon Johnson going to the line for 2. Gary Payton II entering the game for Santos. 10:39 left in the fourth quarter. Spurs up by 4. First free throw by Keldon Johnson is good. Johnson with 13. Fantastic third quarter. Second free throw is good. 14 points for Keldon Johnson. Pod. Looking for a pick and roll. Draymond Green, top of the key, pick and roll. Corner 3. In and out, no good. And Gary Payton II with that 22-foot three-point jumper, front rim, couldn't get his own offensive rebound. Possession, San Antonio. Yeah, and again, there's not very many guys that have that mental toughness and physical toughness like Draymond. Like Draymond is actually the perfect player to go at any superstar in the league. He may not be able to give you, 30 points and 10 rebounds and 10 assists or anything like some of the other top tier guys, but he is a guy that can make your life hell, and he definitely is making it very difficult for Wembanyama today. Again, you hate to play a guy like that, but you would love to have a guy like that on your team. I say pan to Porzingis on the bench. It'll be interesting to see how he fits in with Golden State once he gets healthy. Spurs up by 4. Wembanyama. And Wembanyama runs over Draymond Green, but they're going to call that on Draymond. And Draymond can't believe it. Both hands in the air. And we'll see if he ends up getting a T. And Steve Kerr will challenge. Kind of looked like an offensive foul. And obviously, you know, if your feet are moving, but it looked like the feet were pretty stationary. But again, we will see how this goes. Warriors with challenge, and it is under review. And again, you're definitely getting a battle with Draymond Green and Victor Wembanyama here tonight. 10:05 left in the fourth quarter, 98-94. Spurs up by 4. And again, Warriors were up by 16 in the third quarter. Spurs went on a 24-8 run in the third and ended up tying the game up 94-94 with Fox hitting a shot right at the third quarter buzzer. And now all the momentum is in San Antonio's corner. .05 left in the fourth quarter as we wait for the commercial break to see if the Warriors win the challenge with Wembanyama running over Draymond Green and Draymond getting charged with the foul. Looked like a charge. They ended up calling Draymond with the block, but we will see what the referees see after the timeout. But a great battle between these two players, Wembanyama and Draymond Green. And obviously Draymond knew that he would have to step up, you know, since Curry is not available today. And again, normally when Curry doesn't play, the Warriors lose. But again, they're fighting, and they were very, very good in the first two quarters. Spurs won that third quarter, and now they have the momentum here in the fourth. 10:05 left in the fourth quarter, 98-94. Spurs with a 4-point lead. Brooks Beats, baby. Best beats on YouTube. Everything is original, you know, and again, he is an amazing producer. And again, you know, he pumps out, you know, individual tracks. You know, sometimes he'll do 3 or 4 in a day. Sometimes it takes a few days, you know, to come up with that. But again, you know, I used to make beats with him on his phone. You know, we would just be drinking and, you know, trying to be creative and whatnot back in the day. And so he's definitely come a long way, you know, from those days where we would hang out and, you know, just drink and smoke and, you know, come up with little beats on his phone. And now he's got a full studio like myself. And I wish him the best. Still waiting for the challenge to see if it ended up going through or not here for Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. And a good night, you know, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, you know, almost a triple-double. And again, more than just the numbers with the triple-double, it's the defensive presence of Draymond on Wembanyama. And again, Wembanyama can go crazy against a bunch of shit players for the Lakers. And obviously, you know, put up 30-plus in the first half and went 40 for 12. But again, no Luka, no LeBron, you know, no Reeves. You know, it's like you had no Ayton. Like a majority of the guys that are, you know, kind of names for the Lakers were out. They had like 5, 6, 7 guys out yesterday. So not to take away anything from Wemby, but if a lot of those players were playing, he still would have had a good game, but just not as good of a game as he did. And it looks like they lose the challenge. Wembanyama. Free throw is good. Kind of looked like charging to me, but, you know, again, there's been quite a few fouls on Wemby that they haven't called, so not sure if it was like a makeup call, but... Second free throw by Wembanyama is no good. Draymond Green with the rebound. Less than 10 minutes to go here between the Spurs and the Warriors. Pod at the top of the key. Little two-man game here with Draymond Green. Nice pass down low. Payton trying to outsmart Wembanyama. Champagny with a nice block in the corner. And reverse layup is good. Moses Moody with the reverse layup. Beautiful. Wembanyama here at the top of the key. Pick and roll. Fox. Going to a lob to Wemby, and it's good. And that's the thing, you know, anytime you can end up shooting a shot or a pass that looks like a shot, and then Wemby's in range, he's going to be able to slam it down or at least lay it up. Big block by Wembanyama on the other end. Harper, fast break, 3-on-3. Harper, layup is good. Nice job by Dylan Harper. And the Spurs are extending their lead, now up 7, 103-96. Draymond Green, Gary Payton II, back to Pod here at the top of the key. Pick and roll here with Gary Payton II. Pod for 3. Terrible shot. Again, Pod, I get it when you get a guy off the bench that wants to be able to prove themselves, but sometimes they get into kind of ball hog mode. And again, it's one thing if Steph Curry is taking the shots, but you don't want Pod to be taking almost every fucking shot. And a lot of them are, contested. He needs to be a better teammate there, especially when they've lost the momentum. There you go. Hell yeah, Judah. Congrats, man. You've been on a little bit of a win streak the last couple days. Congrats. Warriors inbound the ball after dominating the first 2 quarters. Spurs dominating the third and the early fourth. Down by 16 in the third quarter, made it all up with a buzzer shot by De'Aaron Fox. Corner 3, in and out, no good. And a great rebound here by the Spurs. Dylan Harper pushing the ball up the floor. Wembanyama, top of the key 3, bang, and it's good. Victor Wembanyama. Oh my. And now this is getting a little out of control. Warriors are going to need a timeout at some point here. Wembanyama. Good defense here by the Spurs. Wembanyama, little help side defense. Good ball movement. Corner 3. And it's good. Quentin Post with a 22-foot three-point jumper in the corner. Pat Spencer with the assist. Wembanyama at the top of the key. And hacked. And that's going to be, I believe, Al Horford. Yep, Al Horford with the shooting foul. Victor Wembanyama to the line for 2. Big Mo, baby, Big Mo. Big Mo and Uncle Mo. And again, one team, is attacking the rim when they were down by 16, and then you had another team that ended up getting down by 6 to 10 points, and what are the Warriors doing? Shooting 3 after 3 after 3. And sometimes it works, but more times than not, it doesn't. Wembanyama with the free throw is good. But I don't see any scenario of the Warriors coming back in this game. I mean, if Steph Curry was playing, then maybe, but it feels it's going to be all San Antonio here. And they're going for their 6th straight win, right? So after a 40-12 night for Wembanyama against the Lakers, so. Second free throw by Victor Wembanyama. In and out, no good. Horford with the rebound. And the Warriors need to attack the rim and slow the game down here in the fourth quarter if they want any chance. If they keep shooting threes, this one is going to be over. Good defense here by San Antonio. Cornette. Good ball movement. Corner 3. Horford, in and out, no good. Offensive rebound by Pod, and the putback, no good. Wembanyama with the rebound. Fast break. And Harper with the beautiful layup. He's great at attacking the rim. Dylan Harper with the layup. And that's going to be a delay of game on the Warriors. D'Anthony Melton coming in for Pat Spencer. And it looks like they're going to give Wembanyama a little bit of a rest here and a breather. As they cue the camera on Porzingis and Draymond commenting on the referee. Keldon Johnson coming into the game for Victor Wembanyama. And now you get the refs you suck from the Golden State fans that have been spoiled with their championships over the years. But again, if Jimmy Butler wasn't hurt and Steph Curry was playing, maybe this is a different type of game, but you got to learn how to adjust on the fly. And it looks like we have a kickball. I don't know if the Spurs are the best team in the league. I think the Thunder and the Pistons would have something to say about that, but I think we can agree, they're the top 3 team. It's the Pistons, and this is not in any order, but the Pistons, the Thunder, and the Spurs are the 3 best teams in basketball, at least right now, and they have been for quite some time. Big 3 at the buzzer is good. Melton with that 24-foot three-point jumper, post with the assist. Cornette handing it off. Good ball movement here. Corner 3. Ooh, it's good. Keldon Johnson matching the 3 from Melton. Dylan Harper with the assist. Nice pass. Horford with the layup on the back door. It's good. D'Anthony Melton with a great vision. 114-104, Spurs up by 10. Crowd with a little bit of a defensive chant here late. Cornette. Vassell. Oh, behind the back, Harper. Ooh, spin move, Vassell. Ooh, what a shot. 12-foot pull-up jumper there by Vassell. Harper with the assist. That was pretty. Nice hang time in there. Good body control. Pod at the top of the key. Horford. Pod. Baseline. And reverse layup by Pod, and it's no good. Podzinski going to the line for 2. Yeah, and the first 4 games the Spurs played the Thunder, Spurs won the first 3 out of 4, but again, I think, player for player, I think that the Thunder are a little bit deeper, but again, it all depends on injuries and how healthy some of these guys can be. Not just SGA, but, some of those other role players as well. But it's close. If there was a team to beat the Thunder, it would be the Spurs. There's no doubt about that. And I don't think there's anybody that's going to beat the Pistons in the East. Again, we'll see what Tatum looks like when he comes back. We got the Knicks, and what they have, but again, they're good at home, not really that good on the road besides today against the Sixers. And then I think that the Cavs will make a little bit of a push with Harden and Donovan Mitchell, but it's clearly Detroit's, division to lose for the Eastern Conference this year. They feel like they are like a Spurs, Thunder type of team this year. They're very deep, and they play as a team, and it shows. Up and under, layup, no good. And loose ball foul on Cornette. Pod at the top of the key. Pick and roll. Don't shoot it, Pod. And he shoots it. Air ball. Come on, Pod. Put that guy on the bench. Open 3 by Johnson. In and out, no good. Warriors with the rebound. And Pod walks it up the floor. Yeah, they got to get Wembanyama back in. Melton with a little crossover. Hezzy. Open 3. Air ball. Jesus. Come on, Warriors. And then Victor Wembanyama checks in. Yeah, well, SGA's role is to score, He's not going to really be a great rebounder. I mean, his goal is to facilitate and pass, and then, obviously score when the team needs that, player to get the job done. When you get guys like SGA and Anthony Edwards, I mean, there's not really an answer for those guys, at least one-on-one wise. Johnson with the offensive rebound. And another foul here. Melton with his second personal foul. Draymond Green back into the game. Spurs inbound the ball. Wembanyama trying to get some position on Draymond Green. Wembanyama, pump fake. Step back three. In and out, no good. Offensive rebound, tip, no good. And another tip by Castle is good. Nice tip by Stephon Castle. Huge. Pod, and he falls down, and Johnson with the personal foul. Spurs up by 10 with about 3 minutes to go. Huge comeback, considering they were down by 16 in the third quarter. And Spurs are trying to get that 1 seed, and it really is going to come down to health, for a lot of these teams, not just in the Western Conference, but the Eastern Conference as well. They have a lot of superstars that have missed a lot of time in the first half of the season. Pass down low to Horford. Good pass to Draymond. Pod for 3. In and out, no good. And nice rebound there by the Spurs. Anybody but Pod shooting the fucking 3. I mean, I'd rather have, anybody. Horford, anyone. Johnson backing down, using his body with the left, and it's good. 4-foot hook shot. Dylan Harper with the assist. Draymond Green at the top of the key, and he's going all the way. Layup with the left hand is good, and 1. Santos with the assist. Draymond to the line for a free throw. And that's going to be a San Antonio full timeout. 3:04 left in the fourth quarter. 118-108. Spurs up by 10. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. 118-108. Spurs up by 10 after coming back from a 16-point deficit in the third quarter. Look at some of the stats here for the players that are in the game. Draymond Green, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 more assists for a triple-double. Santos, 9, 5, and 5. Moody with a strong game, 17, 4, and 2. Horford with 6, 4, and 1. And Pod with 14, 5, and 2. But again, 4 for 11 shooting and has hurt the team here late. Wembanyama, 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. 1 rebound away from a double-double. De'Aaron Fox with a nice solid game of 23 and 7. Vassell with 8. Johnson with 19, 6, and 2, and Harper with 14, 4, and 8. Nice, well-rounded performance by a lot of the role players for San Antonio. Yeah, their run is over. We already know that. They once, they traded Clay away, and I didn't really think Jimmy Butler was a very good fit with the team anyways, and then he ended up getting hurt, but, again, you're not going to end up being young and dominant forever, and eventually you have to start trading pieces away, and then guys start to get hurt. And, again, at some point in the near future, they're going to have to fully rebuild, and I'm not really sure about the whole Porzingis thing. We'll see how that works out. And, they had to get rid of Kuminga and whatnot. So we'll see where it goes, but I don't think anyone assumes the Warriors are championship contenders anymore. They might be able to make the playoffs, but, they don't have the same type of feel as they did a few years ago. 3:04 left in the fourth quarter. Spurs 118, Warriors 108. All right, Draymond Green at the line. Trying to complete the and one. I mean, imagine once the Warriors don't have Steph and Draymond, once those guys are, no longer playing. I mean, what's going to be the identity at that point? It's going to be very interesting to see in the next few years how it all plays out for Golden State. But again, they've had some championships and they've had a great run, and it doesn't last forever. Draymond missing that free throw badly, Spurs with the rebound, and in firm control in this game, up by 10. I highly doubt you're going to see too many threes here late. Wembanyama at the top of the key. Draymond holding his ground. Fox, jumper, is good. And that might have been the nail in the coffin there. Pod walking the ball up the floor. Good defense there by the Spurs and Harper. Draymond Green, corner three, is good. 27-foot three-point jumper by Draymond Green. 120, 111, now 120, 113. Spurs up by 7. 17, 12, and 7 for Draymond. Harper, who's very good at attacking the rim, has killed the Warriors here today. Deep three by Fox. That was unnecessary. And Santos can't get the rebound. Possession still San Antonio. Yeah, they got a bright future. We have to assume the Spurs are going to win a championship at some point with Wembanyama. Probably multiple championships, you would assume. Same type of legacy as David Robinson and Tim Duncan. He's, in that same type of realm. Pod. Draymond Green here at the top of the key. Nice backdoor cut by Pod, and that's the best thing that he's done all game. Nice backdoor cut, and a nice assist by Draymond Green. Great court vision. De'Aaron Fox here at the top of the key. With about a minute to go, Wembanyama with the pick and roll. Fox. Johnson. It's good. 8-foot driving, floating shot is good. Fox with the assist. Extending the lead now, and now the Warriors are running out of time. Oh, stolen. Bad turnover there by Draymond Green. Johnson with the steal. Harrison Barnes passes to Wembanyama in the corner. Back to Barnes. They're just trying to kind of dribble this out a little bit. Fox. Wembanyama with post position down low. And off the glass, no good. Ooh, rebound dunk is good. One-handed, too. And Wembanyama is going to the line for 2. Yeah, hopefully Wembanyama plays until he's close to 40, but we don't really know how long those legs are going to be able to, stay healthy. Most guys that are, over 7 foot usually start to break down over time, but Wembanyama is an alien. We haven't really seen anything like him. First free throw is good. Haven't seen a guy that size, with dribbling ability of a guard and 3-point shooting ability as a guard as well. It's probably better that he's 7'4" rather than 7'6", 7'7", 7'8". Those extra 3 or 4 inches would be a lot of hard work on those joints and ligaments, that's for sure. All right, Draymond Green, last-ditch effort here, crossover, turns the ball over, a little wild there. Fox, and a big dunk. De'Aaron Fox says, take that. 126, 113, this one is over. Santos for 3. In and out, no good. And we're getting very close here for the Spurs just being able to run this clock out. And that is it. Final score, Spurs 126, Warriors 113. Again, 16-point lead for the Warriors. If they just were able to attack the rim instead of shooting all those, non-contested and contested threes, they might have been able to squeak this one out with no Steph Curry. But congratulations to the Spurs and Wembanyama with their 6th straight victory as they go into the All-Star break. Well, I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very much. And again, hit that like button on your way out. Final score, Spurs 126, Warriors 113. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Okay.